This bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Tonight on The South Today, the Prime Minister and Tourism Minister made a flying visit to Queenstown this afternoon to bolster industry players. Dunedin Police say their resources were stretched with multiple call-outs on St Patrick's Day. And the University of Otago has a new 3D scanner to help it measure quickly the interior of its buildings. Kia ora, good evening, I'm Hannah Wilkins. Mandates and tourism were on the agenda for the nation's leader in Queenstown this afternoon. The Prime Minister was at Coronet Peak this afternoon announcing another plan for change.
Jacinda Ardern visited Queenstown's Coronet Peak this afternoon to rally local tourism industry players. She says officials are working to remove COVID-19 vaccine passports and narrow the need for vaccine mandates.
Really important that we're here to talk with the business community, our tourism operators, around the support that we can provide as we gear up again.
Ardern and Tourism Minister Stuart Nash are visiting industry players after announcing borders would reopen to tourists from April 12th. The Prime Minister says there is more work they can do on working holiday visas too, while Minister Nash sang the praises of the resort town.
We're working very closely with the Mayor's office and thought leaders across the region to see what that looks like. The government's put a fund together specifically to build resilience outside of tourism, but you just need to look out the windows behind us. This will always be one of the premier tourist destinations in the world.
Today's visit also follows the announcement of the $49 million Tourism Kickstart Fund. In Queenstown, The South Today.
More than half the people in central Otago who received compromised COVID-19 vaccines over the summer period have now been revaccinated. The Southern DHB revealed earlier this month a failure by one vaccination provider to keep the vaccine at its correct temperature, meaning it may not have been effective. The DHB recommended more than 1,500 vaccinations in the Queenstown area should be redone due to the failure. Pop-up clinics opened at Queenstown Airport and in Glenorchy to help people get revaccinated, with about half of those involved now having their replacement jabs. Meanwhile, health officials say Otago and Southland may be only a week off the peak for daily cases of Omicron and just a few weeks away from a peak in hospital admissions. Only one arrest despite widespread disorder during St Patrick's Day in Dunedin yesterday. 2 students were injured in falls over the course of the day, with parts of Dunedin resembling an urban war zone.
A sea of broken glass rests between and beneath the Audis and Beamers in Castle Street North this morning. Litter including a heap of broken glasses on both sides of the street, left over from yesterday's St Patrick's Day shenanigans. Dunedin Police Sergeant Aaron Burgess told RNZ's Checkpoint there were thousands of people walking the streets drinking, which put a strain on police resources.
We're obviously limited with our staffing numbers at the moment too, and Omicron's really affecting our resources as well, and we can't be everywhere at all times. But yeah, there's thousands of students, all dressed in green, all wandering around with alcohol, all intoxicated. Rubbish is everywhere.
Amongst the chaos, 2 people were seriously injured. A 19-year-old fell from a Castle Street roof and was transported to Dunedin Hospital in a serious condition about 2 p.m. And a few hours later, a 22-year-old student was taken to hospital, also in a serious condition, after falling from an internal balcony. He was found unconscious with blood coming out of his ears. He's currently in ICU in a serious but stable condition. People seen in the student quarter this morning were noticeably more camera shy than yesterday. In Dunedin, The South Today.
Dunedin's Orokonui Eco Sanctuary is reducing its hours from next week. The Wildlife Refuge is the latest victim of the Omicron outbreak, with staff hours reduced and some roles disestablished. From next Monday, the sanctuary will only open on Saturdays, Sundays and Mondays. Orokonui says it's been struggling with the COVID outbreak starting at the start of summer, when it would normally make most of its revenue. More than half of the operating costs come from visitor revenue, with the rest coming from grants, donations and scholarships. Otago University is hoping some new technology will help it to measure buildings around the campus much more quickly. The university recently bought a new 3D laser scanner, which is half the time it takes to measure a building and its intricate interior.
Measuring University of Otago buildings by laser. Rob Wilkes and his team have been busy trying out this new 3D scanner, which can calculate the size and dimensions of campus buildings with more accuracy than some of the original plans show.
In some instances we found that walls are up to half a metre out from where we think they are on our plans.
Made by German camera manufacturer Leica, the scanner uses both a laser and a camera to create images of anything from internal piping to stairwells. It's helped the Property Services Department better understand the health of the 800 buildings on campus. And it's much quicker than doing the job with an old-fashioned tape measure.
The laser measures the environment to plus or minus 6 millimetres, and the cameras paint the colour of the environment onto the laser scan.
The university's had the $100,000 plus scanner for about 4 months, and it's already proving its worth with the ongoing refurbishment of campus buildings.
We're focusing on areas where we're doing work to make sure that when we design the changes to the buildings, they fit within the environment.
The scanner is also expected to streamline consent applications, insurance estimates and building valuations for the University of Otago. In Dunedin, the South Today.
Whai Yakane, still to come on the South Today. Another life-saving German Shepherd joins the ranks, and Shakespeare could be coming to your backyard.
We're Age Concern Otago.
Age Concern Otago hosts a multitude of social activities,
Including interwalks.
If you're at risk of developing melanoma skin cancer, you owe it to yourself to have a mole map. Mole map is coming to your area. Phone today to make an appointment. It could save your life.
Spark your joy with Jazz, the next generation from Honda.
Back up the truck, 24% off plus 24 months interest free. My mate John loves Otago, so this anniversary weekend he's gone all out.
And my mate John.
A poorly maintained heat pump can lose up to 35% of its output. The Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner team are experts. Their specially developed chemical wash is totally biodegradable. Call Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner and get the job done by the professionals.
Hi there, guess who? Do you recognise the eyes? Oh, okay, it's a haircut. Anyway, it's Lindsay here from Alex Campbell Menswear. Our 3 stores are carrying on as usual. Despite what's happening in the world, we have got some great stock for you. Personally, I've spent 50 years in this business and we have some excellent supplier relationships. We've got great stock, it's hand-picked, it's here, it's on time, and it's ready for this great summer.
Alex Campbell Menswear, it fits.
So, as my favourite cut says, keep calm and carry on.
Every day the team at Gillian supports grieving families at their time of need, from answering your questions to organising a farewell that reflects the wishes of your loved one. We can help. Call Gillian's today.
Tēnā koe, welcome back. Bookings are now open for this year's Regent book sale in Dunedin. To keep numbers down and within a 100-person limit, the event will be divided into a number of hour-and-a-half sessions. People can now go online to book a time, with the early sessions already selling out. The fundraising event is set to run from the 1st through till the 10th of April, with books, jigsaws and games to be restocked after every session. A German Shepherd called Weta is now qualified to detect bowel cancer. She'll be joining another dog called Levi to help with the early detection of the disease.
German Shepherd Weta has just passed her exams. The dog's been training at the Canine Medical Detection Unit in Mosgiel. She passed her tests with a 100% success rate at detecting cancer. And now she'll join experienced worker Levi in using their noses to sniff out the disease.
Both Levi and Weta, now they're both German Shepherds, and they are the only dogs in New Zealand trained for the detection of bowel cancer.
Both dogs have proved very effective at detecting bowel cancer from patients' urine samples, and that's expected to enable earlier treatment and potentially save lives.
When you see the dogs working, they can check 20 samples under 20 seconds with 100% accuracy.
About 1,000 people die in New Zealand from bowel cancer every year. And these dogs are two of a number being trained by Canine Medical Detection, which is a Dunedin-based charity dedicated to improving the health of all New Zealanders.
Obviously, all this comes back to finance and funding. We are a charitable trust, and we can only work if we get the funding.
People can donate towards the training and upkeep of the cancer-detecting canines through a Give a Little page. In Dunedin, the South Today.
A new art exhibition which recently opened at the Clyde Museum is inspired by the idea of exploring the institution's collection. The show features the new works created by the artists alongside the original museum items that sparked their creativity.
New artworks inspired by items housed within the Clyde Museum. The recently opened exhibition is called The Museum Through the Artist's Eyes. Committee Chairwoman Andrea Ritchie says those creating the artworks were invited to look through the museum's collection and draw inspiration from what they found.
I wanted them to come into the museum, look around, get a feel for the different objects and the lovely stories that lie behind them, and be inspired to create a piece of art based on that.
It's the second exhibition staged at the Clyde Museum since a phased refurbishment program began. That meant Ritchie wasn't sure how the artworks would be displayed in the museum space.
I was frankly quite terrified because I didn't know how the exhibition was going to be set up, but it was like Christmas time. It was so exciting to see what was being brought in.
The exhibition's laid out with the newly created works being displayed alongside the existing items, allowing gallery goers to appreciate the inspiration and the final creations by the artists.
I didn't need to get all anxious about it because the artworks actually tell you where they're going to go, and it just fell into place. You know, I didn't have to force anything. They just found their own niche.
The exhibition's set to run until the end of April. In Clyde, the South Today.
The works of William Shakespeare have been performed around the world for hundreds of years in countless venues. But now, one travelling group is offering the chance to look out your lounge or kitchen window and witness a COVID-safe performance in your own backyard.
Dunedin's Fringe Festival is well underway, with a troupe of travelling troubadours among the attractions. The Barden Party are performing a version of Shakespeare's Midsummer Night's Dream with a modern twist. The group's setup means they can easily travel around. As well as having a couple of scheduled performances as part of the Fringe Festival, they're also available to come and perform in people's backyards. An idea which came about by chance.
And I was standing on the deck and I said to my friend Scott, who's in the Barden Party cast, said, "This deck is bigger than most stages we've performed on." And about an hour later I said to my husband, "What if I just put on a show in the back garden?" And he was like, "That's a great idea." And then a couple hours later I said, "What if I put on a show in everybody's gardens?" And he was like, "That's an even better idea."
The group have two public events for anyone and everyone, at Larnaca Castle and the Opera House Garden in Waitate, as well as offering special performances coming to a garden near you. In Dunedin, the South Today.
Whai Yakane. After the break on the South Today, scenes of foot rot flats play out in real life in St Bathans, and we take a look at the weekend weather.
Every season, we're proud to dress the region. Alex Campbell Menswear, it fits.
If you're at risk of developing melanoma skin cancer, you owe it to yourself to have a mole map. Mole map is coming to your area. Phone today to make an appointment. It could save your life.
Back up the truck, 24% off plus 24 months interest free. My mate John loves Otago. He bleeds blue and gold, so this anniversary weekend he's gone all out. Huge range, low prices, great service and 24% off plus 24 months interest free. You'll always get a better deal at John's. Shop in store at John's Furniture Warehouse, Stafford Street, or online.
Get that furniture from Stafford Street. And my mate John.
Hi, my name's Matt and I'm the Dines Group CEO. Dines is a company that's focused on selling logistics solutions to its customers. We're passionate about selling efficiency and we've been selling efficiency for over 50 years now.
Livingwell Disability Resource Centre, a not-for-profit charitable organisation and your one-stop shop for information and resources to help you retain independence. We offer a wide range of assistive products from jar openers to mobility scooters and provide assessments for Total Mobility, the half-price taxi scheme. Come and see the friendly team. You'll find us on the corner of George and Bath Streets, ground floor of Burns House.
MTF Finance can help you turn the key on your next vehicle with a loan made just for you. TCs and lending criteria apply.
A poorly maintained heat pump can lose up to 35% of its output. The Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner team are experts. Their specially developed chemical wash is totally biodegradable. Call Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner and get the job done by the professionals.
Tēnā koe, welcome back. Sheepdogs were put through their paces at St Bathans earlier this week. The event was run by the local collie club, with some members having taken part in dog trials for nearly 40 years.
Bringing the sheep down from the top paddock, the St Bathans Collie Club's dog trials were held at Dunstan Burn earlier this week. Club President Tom Goebel says he supports the club because it's an important part of the community and also because he doesn't really have much option.
For one, I manage the station it's on, so I don't have too much choice. We're all part of it here and make the staff sort of get involved, and it's a great thing to catch up with everyone and good community thing to do, really.
The annual competition attracts farmers and competitors from throughout Otago to showcase their dogs, and Goebel says it's an important date on a lot of sheep farmers' calendars.
Otherwise you sort of can struggle to get off the farm a bit, especially the last few months. Most farmers are pretty busy, and yeah, it's good to get a couple of days off, catch up with people and run your dog, and whether you go serious or not, it's all part of it really. Do what you like.
One of those taking part was Omakau shepherd Murray Heckler, who was a life member of the Collie Club, having become involved in the early 1980s. He says a good sheepdog is still essential to hill country farming.
We still need dogs to get the sheep in, and young people don't seem to have time nowadays to think that they can train a dog, and they really need to do that, because if you train it yourself, you're getting there, and you can get the sheep in when we need to get them in. And drones might be useful, but I've never used one. I don't know anything about them, so I'm old school, you see.
Now in its 99th year, the St Bathans Collie Club is preparing to celebrate 100 years next year. In St Bathans, the South Today.
And now recapping tonight's top stories on the South Today. The Prime Minister and Tourism Minister made a flying visit to Queenstown this afternoon to bolster industry players following this week's announcements. Dunedin Police say their resources were stretched by students after multiple call-outs on St Patrick's Day. And the University of Otago has a new 3D scanner to help it quickly measure the interior size of its buildings. And now a look at what's happening in tomorrow's ODT. And joining us is Jo Simpson, our Associate Editor, and what can we expect to see?
Hi, Jacinda's in Queenstown saying they have done it tough and talks about selling the country as a working holiday destination. Kavanagh College will become Trinity Catholic College as Bishop Michael Dooley decides to change its name because Kavanagh failed to respond properly to complaints of abuse. The mother of a student tragically killed when she was crushed in a stairwell is crestfallen at North Dunedin's St Patrick Day carnage. Legal bills continue to mount for the Otago Regional Council a year on from the Clutha River dumping scandal. And Invercargill has emerged as the South's latest COVID hotspot, yesterday recording more daily cases in Queenstown for the first time.
Wow, not something you want to lead, but an interesting development. All of those stories, I look forward to those in the big weekend paper. Thank you, Jo, for joining us this evening. And now for a look at what's happening in tomorrow's weather.
Tonight's weather proudly brought to you by Mole Map.
Looking at the situation, a low pressure system will unusually drift northwards along the west coast this weekend, mostly avoiding Southland and Otago. It should remain dry, if rather cloudy at times. Looking at what's in store for the southern towns along the coast, Catlins can expect fresh nor'easterlies with cloudy skies and a high of 16. Further inland, Balclutha, Lumsden, Gore, all in for moderate nor'easterlies with high cloud reaching 19 degrees. Travelling westwards to the Central Lakes area, Wanaka, Queenstown and Alexandra can expect moderate northerlies with high cloud and a high of about 19 or 20 degrees. There'll be some rain in Te Anau with moderate northerlies and a high of 16. Up to the northern towns along the coast, Timaru can expect fresh easterlies with some cloud and a high of 20. Similar in Oamaru with cloudy skies and fresh nor'easterlies with a high of 18. Further inland, Twizel and Omarama can expect moderate northerlies with high cloud up to 20 degrees. In Dunedin, there'll be cloudy skies tonight with nor'easterlies dropping down to 12. There'll be thick high cloud tomorrow with strong nor'east winds. Cloud will lower during the afternoon and evening, a high of 16 and a low of 14 degrees. Sunday starts with heavy clouds, breaking during the afternoon with some sunny periods developing. Expect a fresh, breezy nor'east wind, making the day mild and humid. A high of 18 and a low of 13 degrees. And it'll be much the same on Monday too for those celebrating Otago anniversary. Down to Invercargill, and tonight it'll be cold with clear skies and an overnight low of 8 degrees. Fine tomorrow with some sunny periods and high cloud. There'll be moderate nor'easterly winds, along with a high of 19 and a warm low of 14 degrees. Similar again on Sunday with winds tending more easterly, a high of 20 and a low of 13 degrees. That's the news this Friday. For the latest news and videos from the southern region, head online to odt.co.nz, and you can follow Channel 39